discuss the options among themselves. It would be a shame for them to finish when they have found like-minded people and an understanding boss. Therefore, Charlie suggests that Lucas think again about what his plans are for the future. Such a sharp question, asked to all employees, at first puts the man in a stupor. At this stage, he cannot yet say for sure what he would like to achieve. But now he has a team whose job it is to make his ideas possible. Therefore, gathering his courage, Lucas replies that he wants to create the right cryptocurrency ecosystem. Now, there are many negative images associated with coins, such as speculation and fraud, and he wants to improve their reputation. By guaranteeing the minimum value of the original coin, Lucas wants to ensure that it can be used in various fields and make it valuable as a true virtual currency. Lucas thinks that the idea he said aloud for the first time really excites him. The team is silent as they listen to him, and Lucas is embarrassed by their lack of reaction. He immediately begins to think that he said some stupid thing and he will not be supported. Even Eddie and the programmer girl who likes him are watching him closely. Lucas begins to wind himself up more and more and is covered in a nervous sweat. It seems to him that he is a disgrace, a humanitarian who has declared to people much smarter than himself about something fantastic and unattainable. However, Lucas is suddenly surrounded by the sounds of increasing applause. All the guys from his team look at him with respect and applaud his words loudly. This reaction, the opposite of what was expected, shocks Lucas. Eddie, barely holding back tears, admires the height of their boss's plan. Everyone sees the value of his dreams and the fun in his future work for Lucas's company. The programmers are so moved by their boss's idea that everyone unanimously decides to follow him. Lucas is shocked by such an active and emotional reaction from the guys. Charlie says that the reason is that Lucas's goal has touched their hearts. Even he himself is considering quitting his job and taking up the serious pursuit of following his friend. Because real heroes follow only the call of their hearts. Lucas is happy that he will be able to continue working next to his friend. He immediately appoints Charlie as the vice president of the company and asks him to take care of him in the future. After this conversation, Lucas formed the organizational structure of the team and founded his own company in San Francisco for full-time operations. So they seriously invested in maintaining the reputation of the cryptocurrency and even created a special shopping center where you could pay for goods with source coins. With the original coin, you could buy games and various merch associated with them. So Lucas created an environment in which coins can be used for different purposes, and the number of miners in a few months exceeded 1.5 million. Thanks to the team's efforts, Lucas's company became the largest company in San Francisco in less than 6 months. A speech about the future of the company, which was recorded by the film crew, was uploaded to video hosting and became very popular. The company's growth has attracted the attention of financial market analysts. So one of them chose Lucas's company to implement his plans. Perhaps he thought that dealing with Lucas would be a piece of cake. Therefore, he decides to visit Lucas's company and makes an appointment. Meanwhile, in Lucas's company during a break, the employees discuss whether their company is strange. When many stop their activities due to the coronavirus, it not only earns, but also expands. At the same time, salaries, even at the entry-level level, are very high for the States. Plus, there are bonuses, allowances, and gifts. This is so good that employees do not believe their happiness and worry. However, not everyone supports this paranoia and enjoys comfortable working conditions. The vice president of the company is a leader who places team members in the right places to achieve maximum efficiency. And the president invests in breakthrough businesses and seems to have the gift of foresight. In addition, he is popular on the internet. When such individuals are at the head of the company, it can be quite difficult to fail. But their personalities are admirable and terrifying at the same time because they are unique specialists. One of these specialists just ridicules the other for his popularity on YouTube and asks for an autograph. He tries to get Lucas emotional, but Lucas strenuously ignores him. When Charlie finally laughs, his friend declares that he is happy with his fun. Lucas himself is embarrassed by his internet popularity, as he has been seen by people from all over the world, and he is not sure of his speech. However, Charlie believes that there is no need to be embarrassed, because the result turned out to be good. Thanks to this, many people learned about the existence of the seed coin, and Lucas's company was also able to announce its own direction of development in the field of cryptocurrency. They also have the power to change the perception of even the most distrustful people. Lucas is touched by his speech, But Charlie believes that he will still have to tease him with his career as a blogger more than once. Suddenly, Lucas's secretary enters the office and announces the arrival of a visitor. The men are surprised by the upcoming meeting and how nervous the girl is. The man who has been analyzing the success of Lucas's company in the market introduces himself as Jim. He is grateful that Lucas and Charlie received him despite the unexpected visit. Jim says that his work is an investment accelerator. Lucas wants to know what investments Jim is dealing with, but Jim refuses to give the names of the clients and is generally obscure. This makes Lucas wary since Jim does not give any specifics. If the company Jim works for was fine, he would happily reveal its name, but he keeps it a secret. Lucas immediately decides that it is not worth contacting Jim and decides to leave because he is not going to entrust his investment to someone else. However, Jim immediately begins to seduce Lucas with sums of tens of billions of dollars, which Lucas can lose if he rejects his offer. Tense, Lucas nevertheless decides to listen to what the guest wants from him. He behaves very confidently, as if Lucas really needs his services. He begins to explain the increasing value of cryptocurrency, since the amount of capital moved with the help of coins cannot be estimated. However, it is even better to get full access to this capital, because it will help to bring fabulous profits to the one who takes the risk. Picking up the conversation, Lucas asks if the man is sure that this is possible, and he explains that you just need to increase the price of the original coin. Since the public's trust in the seed coins is very high, he wants to use this and issue 10 billion of these coins. After that, use the press and connections to inflate prices and, by selling them on the stock exchange, easily earn hundreds of billions of dollars. This scheme infuriates Charlie and Lucas, as it seems very familiar. Lucas and Charlie only need to look at each other to realize that they are thinking the same thing. They realize that it was Jim who was the criminal who illegally controlled the flow of cryptocurrency and orchestrated its decline and growth. In the eyes of men, Jim looks like a villain who has now decided to lay a hand on their business. Charlie immediately gets up in irritation, not wanting to waste his time talking to the villain. But Lucas stays where he is, and he remains silent, showing no such aggressive reaction. It looks as if he, immersed in thought, doubts and wants to accept Jim's offer. He really thinks that a new acquaintance could be useful. And when implementing his scheme, Lucas will never need money again, no matter how much he spends. However, he also understands what his consent will lead to in relation to ordinary people. A slight smile touches his lips, becoming more insidious and cruel. Charlie is horrified that Lucas finds this inappropriate sentence interesting. Jim is already rubbing his hands, believing that Lucas has agreed to all his conditions. He offers to sign the contract right away, but Lucas stops him. You need to postpone the conclusion of the contract, because some difficulties are possible. Lucas is not going to act haphazardly in a matter that is important to both parties. Therefore, he proposes to conclude the contract later officially and in a suitable place. Although this reaction embarrasses Jim, he has no way to refuse. He reports that their company will soon arrange an official meeting. He leaves, grinning predatorily and contentedly at Lucas's decision. Saying goodbye, he is sure that the deal is already in his pocket, and he was able to intimidate and persuade Lucas to cooperate. Charlie's face darkens with a rage he can't hide. He slams his fist on the table and yells at Lucas to explain his behavior. He can't believe that his friend is going to accept such a criminal offer, even though he was talking about creating his own cryptocurrency ecosystem. Charlie doesn't want to think that Lucas's words could have been a lie to the world. But most of all, he is offended that his best friend lied to him. However, suddenly Lucas stops looking at Charlie excitedly and starts smiling. This annoys Charlie even more, as he does not understand the reason for this reaction. Getting up from the table, Lucas walks out of the meeting room. As soon as he opens the door, the film crew rushes inside. Charlie looks dumbfounded at the people lying on the floor. The guys from the film crew greet Charlie embarrassedly. Lucas explains that the team is here to shoot material for his vlog. As the ecosystem and development videos were a great success, Lucas decided to continue filming in-house. And their presence at the meeting was also planned in advance. Now they have a video of a meeting with a person involved in criminal fraud in the cryptocurrency market. Lucas apologizes to his friend for not having time to warn him. He just didn't know how to prepare Charlie for his plan. But for this, he receives a strong undercut and a blow from the furious Charlie. The guys from the film crew are watching the friendly brawl with interest. Charlie shakes off his hands in exasperation and straightens his clothes, looking at Lucas lying on the floor. Lucas is unable to cough after a strong chokehold. However, Charlie does not let him say a word and warns him not to do this to him again. Embarrassed by the misunderstanding, Lucas apologizes. The men discuss what to do next, and Charlie assumes that Lucas wants to turn the tape over to the police. However, Lucas believes that there is not enough evidence, and it is only enough for a scandal, and the criminal can even escape. Therefore, they decide to conduct their own investigation and accumulate as much evidence as possible. Then they can be handed over to the police and used to punish Jim and those behind him. At this time, Jim just arrives at the home of his employer. This is a luxurious Chinese-style house with huge, heavy doors that a man knocks on. It is open to him, but Jim is immediately speechless from fear. An angry, hungry tiger, the pet of his employer, comes out to meet him. Jim's boss himself slowly follows and apologizes for scaring him in vain. A man approaches his pet holding a chicken carcass in his hands because it's time to feed the tiger. Jim is covered with sweat from excitement and nerves. He is waiting for questions about the past meeting. As he thought, a Chinese man in traditional clothes immediately addresses him. He wonders how Jim's conversation with Lucas went, and Jim replies that he received a positive reaction to their offer. However, they did not conclude a fixed-term contract because Lucas wants to do it officially. The boss is furious that Lucas has asked for time to think. Such a delay disrupts his plans, and he is not going to tolerate it. Enraged, he throws a chicken carcass in Jim's face, who asks for time to prepare a contract. The tiger, as if on command, with a growl rushes in the direction of Jim, who screamed. He catches the meat right next to the man's face, sinking his fangs into him with a menacing growl. Jim's boss looks down on him in fury. Because of this, Jim shakes in fear, crawling away on the floor. The Chinese explains that the most important thing when taming an animal is not to lose the initiative. It is also important not to forget to feed, and you should never allow yourself to think. After all, if the animal is not subordinate to the will of the owner, it will be devoured. Jim falls to his knees and begins to apologize to the chairman. He promises to contact Lucas and arrange a new meeting, as well as do everything possible to get him on their side. Under the threat of reprisals, he guarantees the boss a positive result. Pleased with this answer, the chairman calls the tiger to him and orders Jim to go to work. The Chinese strokes the purring tiger on the head, reflecting on the fact that Lucas turned out to be more than just a wild dog from a vassal country. He has brains, but in any case, he will have to obey. Meanwhile, at his company in San Francisco, Lucas calls Ellie. He says that he has not heard the girl's voice for a long time and misses her. He says that his affairs are in order, and he is engaged in simple paperwork. Ellie's answer, on the other hand, makes him frown and shudder all over. After learning that Ellie is at home in New York, the man makes a decision. He leaves the office and hurries with his guards to the car. He brings Lucas and his companions to the airport, and soon the man flies to Ellie. A few hours later, a surprised Ellie opens the door for Lucas. The man is surrounded by a large number of boxes with gifts that he brought for the girl. He smiles contentedly, glad that he managed to surprise Ellie. Already in the apartment, he arranges the boxes while Ellie sits on the bed and watches him. Lucas states that he missed Ellie and came to take a break from difficult problems at work. The girl's glad that despite the heavy workload, her man found time to see her. But when Lucas asks how Ellie is doing at work, she is embarrassed. The Korean takes on a large number of new projects, but he does not know what Ellie is doing. The girl immediately falls from the bed to the floor in absolute despondency. She is sure that she will be demoted from a leader to a stone or a piece of gum. On one of her transactions, the losses amounted to 0.21%, and she is very worried. Such a reason plunges Lucas into complete bewilderment. He does not understand whether such a loss should be taken seriously at this level, but he thinks it could mean that Ellie is very professional about her work. Deciding to cheer up his girlfriend somehow, Lucas smiles and calls out to her, attracting attention. A tear-stained American woman, squelching her nose, looks back at him. Lucas asks if there's anything Ellie would like to do. He is ready to support her in any idea that she has in mind. To the provocative question about whether Lucas likes cats, the man does not know what to answer. He watches with interest as Ellie crawls under the covers. And then, with funny sounds, he digs under it, as if wearing something. Finally showing up, Ellie brags about her cute cat ears and meows. This causes an active reaction in Lucas, and he excitedly says that he will not only stroke her this evening. Embarrassed and satisfied, the girl looks up at him. The lovers, barely restraining themselves, get closer, preparing to kiss. But then, suddenly,